President Trump may be the latest politician to be derailed by it, but there's a long, deep, bitter history within the Republican Party between what I call the purists and the pragmatists. I mean, this goes back to when John Boehner was Speaker. He ultimately resigned in frustration because he couldn't bring enough of his more conservative members along to do remember the grand bargain, a big tax and spending deal with President Obama. It goes back to 2013 when the Republicans, led by people like Rand Paul, shut down the government rather than fund Obamacare. A lot of people then said, what was the point of that? It actually hurt the Republican Party politically, and it didn't derail Obamacare at all. And it's no accident that when Boehner stepped down, Paul Ryan did not particularly want to be Speaker. He essentially had to be drafted, nudged, pushed into the job because he knew how difficult it would be to deal with that split. All of this, I think, is behind the backdrop of the defeat of the health care bill, the failure to even get a vote because the Republican Party simply didn't have the votes. Now, I've said before, the House Freedom Caucus, which opposed this, was acting on principle, thinking this was a badly botched and rushed bill that was worse in a way than leaving Obamacare in place. But as a result, President Trump took a hit. We still have Obamacare as the law of the land for the foreseeable future. And the White House, I think, got quite a message about how difficult it is to bring some of those people over to the president's cause. Now, this is in part because of what Congressman Poe of Texas, in quitting the caucus, the Freedom Caucus, said. He said, we kept moving the goalposts. The White House and Paul Ryan made changes that we insisted on health care bill, and we kept saying that wasn't enough. At the same time, you know, it's useful, I think, to think of President Donald Trump almost as an independent because, well, he certainly wasn't a Democrat, and he ran and won the Republican nomination. He ran against the GOP establishment, and he had a much more moderate position on health care. No one should lose insurance, no lifting of the ban on pre-existing conditions. That was not very much in sync with the most conservative members, particularly in the House. And so Trump now has a choice to make as he tries to pivot, move on to tax reform, infrastructure, and other legislative priorities. Does he give up on the Freedom Caucus? Ryan Priebus said the other day on Fox News Sunday that we can't always be chasing the perfect, that sometimes you have to take the good, put it in your pocket, and declare a win. But the purists don't view it that way. They would rather lose as long as they believe they're standing on principle. Or does the president try to peel off some moderate Democrats who might agree on certain aspects of tax reform, who might like the idea of big road and spending projects, bridges and that sort of thing? At the same time, now we have Nancy Pelosi. I mean, they're all celebrating. They actually stopped the Obamacare repeal effort. They may have no incentive to cooperate with this president, except they could be accused of being relentlessly obstructionist. This is a big decision for the White House, having lost the health care fight. How do you proceed? Can you bring over some of those more conservative members who may not agree with you on everything? Or do you have to do what Reagan did, make some deals with Democrats? And on that question for the next few months really may hinge the fate of Trump's first year as president.